Welcome to Liberate Your People Pleaser. I am your host, Brenda Florida, certified life coach, and you might be a people pleaser if you sacrifice your needs or your wants or your feelings to benefit someone else, or you keep silent when something bothers you or upsets you, or you're super critical and feel like you're probably your own worst enemy. Well, here's what I've got in store for you for this podcast. First of all, there's nothing wrong with you and you don't need fixing. What we need to do is leverage the superpowers of being a people pleaser, because there are definite superpowers. You are super intuitive, I am sure. You have great powers of empathy, the ability to read a situation and know what's going on with people and those around you. So what we're going to do in each episode is talk about ways to disempower the parts of it that are diminishing and don't serve us anymore, and level up or empower all those superpowers. So join me in the next episode of Liberate Your People Pleaser. Welcome to Liberate Your People Pleaser. I'm so happy you're here for this episode. Today we're going to talk about being seen, heard, and valued. Those are three qualities that so many of my clients come to me wanting to experience in their life, and they're super frustrated because they aren't, whether it's in a romantic relationship, which is often what brings them to coaching, or in a business relationship, because it's really easy for us to get with a boss or a business partner or something within our professional life that creates that dynamic where we are not being seen and heard and valued. So let me just break this down a little bit to start to give you a way to work with it yourself, and you'll sort of experience a little bit of how I work with it with clients. And we'll probably take more than one podcast episode to unpack this, because there's a lot of different dynamics. We have to think about, one aspect of it is, why am I with people who are not seeing me and hearing me and valuing me? And then there's well, if that's the case, what do we do about it? So there's several different components to this, but today I want to give you something that you can really start doing right away, because it has to do with you, right? So anything about us, we are in control of. We can't control other people. So let's start with where this really begins in our lives, which is with ourselves. Because, as people pleasers, we were not taught or conditioned or programmed, whatever word you like to use for that, to really be seen or heard or really valued. By valued, I mean valued for who we are. So as a people pleaser, you were taught to do things for others, to see others, to hear others, to be valued for what you do or a role you play or how you serve others or whatever, not just for who you are. And being seen and heard and valued, that longing that we all have to be seen and heard and valued, is for who we are, our authentic nature, not when we're performing, right? I can get on a stage and perform and get applause, and yeah, that's wonderful, but we can't perform all the time. That's exhausting, right? And so that longing, I want you just to feel that and tell me down in the comments or DM me if that's true for you. Like the longing is really, when you think about it and feel into it, it's that you're longing to be seen and heard and valued for your authentic self, not because you're a good mother or a good father, or you cooked dinner tonight, or you cleaned up after everybody today, or you even did the homeschooling with the kids today, although I applaud you for that. But that's not what you want to be valued for. You don't want to be valued for making the money. If you're the breadwinner in the family, or you're just contributing to the family's income, whatever, sure, it's great, you're bringing in money, but that's not what you want your value based on, because then what happens if you're not bringing in money? You have no value. So this being seen and heard and valued is so important because it's really about being seen and heard and valued for who we are. And that can be a journey because you may be in a place like I was years ago where I didn't even know who I was. I mean, I lost myself so much that in a therapist's office with my husband, when he asked me what the therapist asked me what my favorite color was, I looked at my husband to see what he was going to say. I mean, that's pretty damn lost. So it starts with coming home to who you are and beginning to explore what it is you want. What do you want people to see in you? What are you valuing in yourself? So I want you to do this exercise, and I'd love for you to do it several times, but at least do it once. And then tell me in the comments or DM me, or you can always email me, Brenda@BrendaFlorida.com, and tell me how this goes for you. Because before we can even hope to be seen, heard, and valued by somebody outside of ourselves, the outer world, a lover, a spouse, a friend, a boss, a business, coworker, whatever, we have to see and hear and value ourselves. And if you're feeling a little deflated now because you wanted this to be somebody's job, sorry, but not sorry, because the power is in you doing this for yourself. Trust me on that. When you see and hear and value yourself, the people around you will begin to change how they respond to you. So I want you to just take a minute. You can do it as soon as you're done with this podcast, or you can, do it before you go to bed or in the morning or whatever, but do it. Don't skip this, because the value, the gift for you is really in the doing of this, not listening to the podcast, much as I love recording podcasts. So I want you to look in the mirror. You don't have to be naked or anything. We're not going that far on this episode, but I want you to look in the mirror. I want you to see yourself. And often we are very uncomfortable when looking in the mirror. But then I would have to ask you, if I was coaching you, if you cannot look at you, then it's not likely that a lover, a coworker, a boss, a business partner, your mother, your father, your whoever that is in your life that is not seeing you now that you wish was, they're going to have a hard time seeing you if you're not willing to look at yourself. So I want you to look in the mirror, okay? And then I want you to hear yourself. So I want you to think, just in that moment, there's no right or wrong answer, what you want. Like, what's just a little desire that you have. Doesn't have to change the world. It doesn't have to change your life. Just, what do you want? Do you want to go take a hot bath? Do you want to eat some good cheese and have a glass of wine? Do you want to go take a nap, go to bed, read a book, go sit outside, go walk on the beach, go walk in the woods, go take a run, go get on the bike and, ride, get on your Peloton, do a yoga class. Like, it doesn't matter what paint your fingernails. I don't care what it is. It is hearing yourself, right? It's hearing for yourself what you want. And then not only do I want you to do that, right? Because that's part of valuing, okay? Because if we were doing this together in a relationship, which will come later, and you came to me and you said, wow, Brenda, I'm really feeling worn out. Okay, so that's the seeing yourself. You look in the mirror, and I'm not saying you criticize yourself. I'm saying when you take that moment to look at yourself, you connect with that inner voice, and you're like, I am exhausted. I've been running 90 miles an hour. I didn't sleep good last night, or whatever. You don't have to have a reason. I'm tired. It's a fucking pandemic, right? Who's not tired? I think everybody's more tired these days. So whatever, you see yourself and you realize how you feel, which also drives what you need. So you come to me and you say, gosh, I'm really tired and I just want to go sit outside and read for a little bit. can you start dinner? Can you start, watch the kids, whatever, or there's nobody else in our household and I'm just telling you that, and then you go do it, because as you value yourself by giving yourself what you need, instead of saying, oh, I'm really tired, I really want to go sit outside and read, but I can't, I need to go fix dinner, the kids have more homework to do tonight, or they've got parent teacher conferences, or whatever, and so I dismiss what it is I've seen and heard from myself about myself that I need, then I am not valuing myself. Okay. So those three things go together. That's why so often, even when people talk about it, they'll say those three things together: seen, heard, valued, because one without the other two it kind of neutralizes the others, right? So who cares that you see me if you're not going to listen to me and if you're not going to value what I need? Same goes for internally. So once we shift this to an internal dialogue first and get good at seeing ourselves, hearing ourselves, what do we need? What do we want? How do we want to, treat ourselves, behave towards ourselves, talk to ourselves? Then value ourselves by aligning with that. Get in integrity with that. If I need to rest, I need to find a time as quickly as I can to go rest, even if it's briefly. So like today, I happened to wake up at 3 a.m. I had a meeting at 6 a.m. So needless to say, I didn't sleep much between 3 and 6 because I kept thinking about the meeting and then how little time I had to sleep between now and the meeting, So by about, I don't know, it must have been close to 2 o'clock. I was so tired. And I had several things I wanted to do this afternoon, not the least of which was recording this podcast. But when I checked in with myself, I was like, I can't keep going. I need something that will perk me up. And so I thought about laying down and taking a nap. But then I was like, then sometimes you just get that groggy feeling and you kind of never wake up from an afternoon nap. So I'm like, I don't really want to risk that. I was like, go take a walk. Now, I'm fortunate enough, I just arrived here in Southern California, so I'm about 20 minutes from one of my favorite beaches, Hermosa Beach, and so it's a gorgeous day, so I drove out to the beach, took a walk, came home, recorded a podcast. So I saw what was going on with me, right? I connected with myself. I heard what I needed. I needed something to revive me for the day. And then I valued that by going out and taking a walk on the beach. And now, I'm home. I'm joyfully recording this podcast because I love doing it. And I feel really refreshed after being outside and taking the walk. And, then I'll do my couple other things and finish up my day. So it all begins with you. And once we get the part with ourselves going consistently, you'll be amazed. In fact, I would love to hear if without you even saying something, somebody close to you in your life, you start to notice they're seeing you, hearing you, valuing you more because you are doing it for yourself. You don't even have to tell them, right? You just do it like a little secret science experiment, If I start seeing, hearing, and valuing myself, what starts being reflected to me out in the world? So I can't wait to hear all about it. DM me, email me, Brenda@brendaflorida.com, put something in the comments. Please, please, please share this podcast with your friends. You can tag me in a social media post. It's getting ready to get uploaded into Spotify and Google Play. So we should have that going in the next week or two, which will make it a little easier to find. Right now it's on Apple and it's in YouTube. And I have it on my website, BrendaFlorida.com/podcast. I'm just so happy you're here. And I would really love to hear what your takeaway is from this today. So thank you. Here is to seeing, hearing, and valuing yourself. Mwah! See you in the next episode. All right. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Liberate Your People Pleaser. Hey, I've got 3 more things for you. One is join my private Facebook group, Liberate Your People Pleaser. We have lots of great conversations. I do Facebook Lives in there, drop in free resources, all kinds of cool things to support you in your journey to liberate your people pleaser. So the link for that is in the show notes. Second, I would love it if you would put a 5-star review on whatever podcast service that you found the podcast on. That would be totally awesome. And I'll give you a shout out on a future episode. And last but not least, if you've got a question you would like for me to answer or address, you'll also find a link in the show notes to do that. So submit your question and you'll hear me talk about it on a future episode of Liberate Your People Pleaser. I'll see you in the next episode, everyone. Bye-bye.